Next to me here is the Old Country Barbecue Pit's G3, and after 8 months of heavy use, doing hundreds of cooks, feeding thousands of people, I'm going to give you my pros and cons list of the G3. And to keep this video balanced, we're going to be going over 5 pros and 5 cons to see if this G3 is right for your backyard. Now, if this is your first time seeing or hearing about the G3, what sets this smoker apart is it's fully insulated, meaning the firebox is dual wall insulated and the inside cooking chamber is also dual wall insulated. The first pro is going to be its size. The G3 is ginormous. I mean, look at this. I think this is probably the biggest smoker I have in my backyard, and definitely has over 1,600 square inches of cooking and grilling space so that you can just load this thing up. Now, looking under the hood, this is pretty much how it comes. You have a bottom grate, you do have a top grate. 90% of the time, I'm actually not even cooking with the top grate, but this just has a ton of room to fit a ton of barbecue. Pro number 2, and this is probably my favorite one, is going to be steady temperatures. Seeing as the G3 is fully insulated, there are no temperature spikes at all. You can put in a piece of wood, and say if it's a thick piece of wood, you're not going to see a temperature spike. And then when the wood kind of gets fully consumed, you're not going to see a sharp temperature drop. So my favorite thing about the G3 is just smooth and consistent temperatures. Pro number 3 is ease of use. Now, there are a lot of features about this smoker that make it easy to use. But the first thing what makes this easy to use is fire management. Now, whether you're brand new to backyard offset smoking or you're a seasoned pitmaster, this is one of the easiest offset smokers to learn on. Because there's no temperature spikes, all you have to do is feed a log in every 45 minutes to an hour and you get rock steady, solid temperatures. But what makes this also easy to use is on the sides, you actually have these over-engineered springs. You can lift this thing with one hand. It's very, very easy. So whether you have, a pork butt or brisket in one hand, you don't actually have to put it somewhere. You can come out, lift the lid, close it down with one hand. It is super, super easy. All right, let's see. One finger. Can we? Oh, we did it. Let's try to see you do that with your offset smoker, huh? Can't do it. Now, I don't know about you, but I am a 4 seasons barbecue lover, meaning I don't care if it's snowing out or if we're in the middle of a Texas summer. I've used the G3 at its coldest temperatures, and I've also used it when it is blazing hot out here in Texas. And again, you're going to see the same consistent thing. You're just going to see just even temperatures, no temperature spikes. Now, when it's really, really cold out, the benefit of having dual wall insulation is it helps hold that heat in. But in summertime, that just means you actually have to use less fuel to keep this up to temp. But either way, whether it's snowing out or super, super hot out, I can cook with this thing no matter what the weather is. Now, we are in the middle of summer right now, and trust me, I wish it was winter because gosh dang, I'm sweating. All right, and the last pro is less fuel, but same great smoke flavor. Here in our HOA community, we'll actually have barbecue events here, and so we're talking as many people that live in this community, they will come out in the hundreds, and I'll watch them, and every time they actually get the barbecue, you could see it in their face. They would either say get a pulled pork sandwich or some brisket slices, and they eat it thinking like, whatever, this is a free event. They're coming here and they're like, they come back for seconds and they're like, who cooked this? And so I had tons of people come up to me and just say, this barbecue is out of this world. To hear it from hundreds of people saying, man, this is the best barbecue they've ever tasted, kind of goes to say something. The G3 can put out some amazing barbecue. Now we're going to cover over the cons. Don't y'all be thinking this is the Mother Teresa of barbecue smokers. There are some cons, so you got to balance it out. You got to balance the pros and cons out. So the first con is going to be its weight. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, that's not like a bad thing. I want this thing to have as much steel as possible. Agreed, but do take into account this thing is 800 pounds. So when you're actually moving it around and whatnot, I could still move it around in my backyard. Ooh. But it's hefty. Let me just say that. It is a hefty pit. So definitely getting it in my backyard. Thankfully, the people that dropped it off, they were very, very kind. I was like, can you kind of help get this in my backyard? And they were like, no problem. But even the plywood that they put down, like they're rolling it over these plywood slabs and the plywood's literally cracked. Like this thing weighs a ton. So just take that into consideration. This thing is a beast. Now, trust me, I'd love for this thing to be, featherweight, but you do need that weight for all that insulation and those steady temps. You do need the weight, but if you're trying to move this thing around a lot, just know that it is a very, very heavy smoker. Oh my God. Oh, I feel like Superman, baby. Woo. So con number 2 is this smoker takes a little bit longer to come up to temperature. Mind you, with the dual wall insulation in the firebox and in the cooking chamber, and you have just these steady temps, it takes a little bit longer comparing it to just your thin gauge metal that you can find at the box stores, or if you're just looking at a 1/4 inch pit, takes a little bit longer, but once this thing actually comes up to temperatures, you get just rock steady temps. So from this pit to go from cold to barbecue temperatures takes about 45 minutes. The third con is there are no upgrade packages. Pretty much what you see here is what you get with the G3. Now, for me, if they had an option like, hey, do you want like a golf cart package where, you put these big, robust, wheels on, make it a little bit easier to move in the backyard, I would absolutely spring for that upgrade. Now, that doesn't stop me from kind of pimping out my own grill, but it would be cool to see them offer additional upgrades if you actually want it. Now tell me this wouldn't look super cool like this. God, I love Photoshop. Con number 4 is heating up your wood or priming your wood for the smoker is a little bit harder with a fully insulated firebox. Normally, when you see offsets being run, you're going to see all their wood stacked up on top, but because this is dual wall insulated, means the top of it isn't going to get as hot as if this was a non-insulated firebox. So you kind of have to be creative when actually heating up your wood, but it's a small price to pay for being fully insulated. Now, the last con is looking at the very bottom here, and on the G2, they actually had kind of a flat metal piece coming around here that, you can store your wood under. But to me, this in theory would be a great option for storage space down here. And I just feel that definitely they made the base of it very beefy, but I think they should have made this solid to where I can actually kind of store stuff under the smoker. Now, balancing out the cons and the pros, in my opinion, the G3 is the best backyard smoker I've ever used. This thing is just super easy to use. You get awesome smoke flavor with it. And if you need to feed a lot of people or just yourself, it definitely has the room inside to do it. Now, I will put a link in the description to this G3 so you can actually look up all the specs, the inner diameter, the outer diameter, all that stuff. But in my experience using this thing over the last 8 months, this thing is so fun to cook on. So in my backyard right now, I have about 20 smokers that I kind of have to juggle on what actually gets shown in the videos and whatnot. But when I'm not filming, I cook on the G3 the most. Like this thing is, whether I'm filming or not filming, I love cooking on the G3. It's just fun and it makes your backyard smell like an actual barbecue joint. Like the smell is just amazing. I'll get texts from the neighbors and they're like, you're running your offset smoker right now. I was like, yep, and barbecue's gonna be ready in about 12 hours. If you are in the market for an offset smoker, you definitely have to check out the G3. This thing is just a beefy smoker. It's a heavy smoker. And it's one of those things where you buy once, you cry once, and then you're gonna enjoy it for a lifetime. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Grill Sergeant out.